Welcome back to my channel. Today's discussion will be about Series 18. There's a lot to go over, so let's get right to it. Series 18 was released in the fall of 2009. This was another Halloween-themed series, which I thought was kind of curious that Mezco went right back to this theme, just having a previous Halloween theme in Series 16. But it's a great series, so I'm not going to knock it. Now, the way I'm going to go through the dolls, so I'm going to leave the most valuable doll last because it is a surprise, and it's a doll I still can't figure out their appeal. And let's see if you can guess it before the videos end. So the first doll I'm going to talk about is Ingrid. Now, Ingrid, who I really, really love, and I think she's one of the underrated dolls of this series. She is a vampire, a different take on the vampire character. We've had series 3 with Lilith. This one is more in line with an old school costume. On appearance, she looks a lot like Lily Munster from the Munsters series from the 60s. She comes with this cute vampire mask with fangs. Now, unlike the previous Halloween series, all these characters are dead, so they're not kids playing as the characters. They are dead, possessed, however you want to call it. So she is indeed a vampire. Now, the way she became a vampire, which is an old school myth against bats. So she bit a bat, and that's how she became a vampire. And it seems like it's a reference to the infamous biting of a bat by Ozzy Osbourne. And she died from it, rose from the dead. He was just fine. So her death date, along with the other dolls in the series and the previous Halloween series, is around Halloween. So her date is October 31st, 1970. Now, there were two references I found in relation to her death date. So on October 28th of the same year, there's an American release of a UK film called The Vampire Lovers, which featured a female vampire villain of sorts, and she had romantic relations with another woman, which is very rare at the time. Usually it's a male vampire, after a woman, but this one was about two women. And then there was a show called Dark Shadows, which was a soap opera, the first of its kind. It was a supernatural soap opera that debuted in the late 60s. And they had, I guess, a made-for-TV movie or a film in the theaters. I'm not quite sure. That was basically an attempt to jazz up interest in the show because it was on its way out. It eventually did get canceled. And the main character of that show was a vampire named Barnabas Collins. And, I'm not sure which one the guys were going for, but those are the two things I found in common with her death date. She comes with a pumpkin, like all the other Halloween dolls, and she does have a cupped hand to hold it. Her dress is very simple. She comes with this little capelet neck part that's separate from the main dress. She has these little webbing attached, which again reminds me of Lily Munster. She has really nice hair. I love her makeup. Now, unlike Lilith and other vampire dolls, Living Dead dolls will do, like in Series 19, she has no fangs. So I thought that was the interesting thing. She became a vampire, but apparently no teeth. So the only thing that tells you she's a vampire is her mask. Now, she doesn't go for a lot of money. I paid $29 plus shipping and tax, which brought her to like $32.50. And she goes for $50 to $60. Again, relatively inexpensive. And that is Ingrid. Next is another one I think is very underrated, and that's Gabriella. Now, Gabriella, her costume brings back memories for me. If you were a child of the late 70s, 80s, then you are familiar with a Halloween costume company called Ben Cooper. And basically, you will have a mask and you will have this plastic vinyl apron that smelled so bad of toxins, but it's something that we all had as kids at the time. Personally, for me, I had one with Pippi Longstocking, and my sister, she had a Barbie dress in a bridal dress. So that's my memories of the Cooper costumes. She comes with this mask, and again, as I mentioned in my previous video discussing Series 16, I'm not going to put it on the doll's face. Okay, that's what she looks like in her mask. And for some reason, she is the only one that has a mask that glows in the dark. For some reason, not sure why. Now, her costume is very interesting. So on her costume, it says the Ghoul. And it's a really nice illustration. And you see like this sulfur symbol on the tombstone. You see this character here. And apparently, The Ghoul is a movie that came out in the 30s. Her death date is the release of this movie. And it starred the iconic, the legendary Boris Karloff. It was one of his earlier films. But I'm sorry, I made a mistake. So her death date was 2 days before the film's date. So her death date was the 23rd in November of 1933, and the movie came out the 25th of that same year. So maybe it was a mistake, but it definitely is a reference to that movie. The graphic looks just like Boris on the movie poster. So it definitely is a nod to that movie. Now, it's not clear what she is. It seems like according to her chipboard and her death certificate, she seems to be a zombie of sorts. And we've seen zombie dolls before with Dawn, and of course later Series 22. So, I think she's like a hybrid mash of it, or maybe she's a zombie in transition. So she has this really cool face paint. Her eyes looking up. Her mouth even looks a little bit mummified, like she's a mummy. And like the Cooper costume, the apron, it has this tied-on feature, which that was the aprons back in the day. You tied it on, which again, a very cute detail. And I just think she's adorable. Look, I love her little cute red bow. And her chipboard, sadly, she was dressed as Cinderella, and that she got bit from some creature during Halloween. And so she becomes this costume instead. Now, she, along with Pumpkin and Calavera, who's behind her, she was part of this limited Halloween set of these boxed costumes, which are very reminiscent of the Cooper costumes. If I could get it in focus. And what was neat about this is that it came with a mask that an adult can wear, and it comes with a t-shirt and the doll itself. I'll show you the doll. So it's the same exact doll. However, she doesn't come with the cupped hand, nor does she come with the pumpkin. So if you do look for her on the secondary market, make sure that you're getting the right Gabriella. If she comes with a cupped hand, then she's supposed to have a pumpkin and, of course, her death certificate and the mask. So make sure you look at those pictures carefully, because you can easily buy this one and not know it belonged to the costume set. Okay? And her mask up close. Really cool. I have worn it in the past, giving out candy to trick-or-treaters. And I have to say, it doesn't look it, but I have frightened some children. I have made a couple of kids cry, so I had to take off the mask. But it's a really cool mask, really well made. And every set comes with this cool t-shirt, which is very adult friendly for both men and women. And if you're on the curvy side, it's one size fits almost everybody at extra large. Really cool t-shirt. Now the box set, I didn't pay a lot of money for it. I bought it a couple years ago at this convention, and I paid $35. I'm not sure what the retail price was, but I feel like I paid close to that price. Now they're very expensive on the secondary market. They only made 500 sets of those boxed costumes. And I think she, of the three, is the easiest to get. And I highly recommend, just something fun to have, especially, if you want an easy costume on Halloween to give out candy. One of those box sets would definitely be a really cool choice to do. So I didn't pay a lot for her either. Again, she's very underrated in this series. So she was another one that I paid just $30, but she came out to like $42 because of shipping and taxes. And she goes from about $40 to $50 as well. And that is Gabriella. Next is Ember. Now, Ember is a real witch, so she's not playing a witch. So, unfortunately, she suffered the fate of a witch, a woman accused of a witch. So she was burned alive. Very, very grim. Now, her death date is the only one of the 5 that is not anywhere near Halloween. Her death date is actually the death of someone who actually was burned alive at the stake in Connecticut. Her name was Alice Young, and her death predated the Salem witch trials in Massachusetts. And she also had a mini vinyl figure. I'll show you that in a moment. Just want to show you her costume. So because of her burnt nature, she has very little hair. And her face is really gnarly. And they really did a great job capturing someone that's burned, unfortunately. As horrible as it is a cool effect. Her dress is a very simple witch costume. She has these thick green and black tights. The shoes. I forgot to mention that Gabriella and Ingrid have the same Mary Jane shoes. Also comes with a pumpkin. And the face is very textured too. It's not smooth, and so does the paint on her face and her neck and on her hands. And she has this adorable hat, which if you place it just right, she doesn't look as bald, like if she's forward facing you. And here is her vinyl. I'm just going to bring it to you. I would take it out, but it really is a pain. The way I have my vinyl set up, it's really a pain to get it out. So here she is. She has a variant version and a regular version. I believe this is the regular version that I have. So really, really well detailed. And I forgot what series she came from. I'll share a picture of the series. And she's not the only one that appeared in that same series of vinyls. Jingles behind her also has a vinyl. And I'll show that when I talk about him. And she's another doll that I didn't pay a lot money for. She's the cheapest of the 5. I paid, I want to say, she came out to $29 again, and shipping and handling and taxes, she came out to like $35. And you can easily get her for $35 to $45. And again, I think she's an underrated doll. Very easily ignored. Actually, a lot of these dolls, with the exception of 2 in this series, are very easy to get because they are overlooked a lot. And the interesting thing about her mask is, along with Calavera and Pumpkin, they resemble the trick-or-treaters in the Halloween movie, Season of the Witch, Part 3. I'm sorry, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which Mezco later came out with a box set of those dolls. So the witch mask she has is very similar to that design. Okay? And that is Ember. Next is my favorite doll of Series 18, and that's Calavera. Now, Calavera, I actually bought her in a comic book store, actually Forbidden Planet, when she first came out. So I paid retail for her, and at the time it was like $25. She is my favorite. I have almost all of her versions except for the boxed Halloween set, which I'm hoping to get one day. Again, the doll is only different with the cupped hands, but with her and her variant, which I'll bring out in a moment, and her resurrections, I almost have every doll they've made of Calavera. Now, Calavera represents the celebration of the Day of the Dead, or Dios de los Muertos, excuse my Spanish. And my microphone stopped working for this part of the video, so I'm going to try to best talk over what I'm showing you on camera. So her sweatshirt, which has a skeleton print, has a working zipper. I didn't demonstrate it on camera because over the years the zipper part has become difficult to move up and down, so I don't want to break the doll. I love the skirt, the tutu. It's made of a plastic material, so it kind of feels cheap, but it does look nice against the rest of her costume. And it just is a nice touch to her. And her death date is the celebration of Dia de los Muertos, which in Mexico they celebrated on November 1st and November 2nd. I love the face paint on her. It's really beautiful. very well detailed. And Mezco will come back to this theme in series 20 when they do an all sugar skull theme. Calavera is the Spanish word for skull, but not skull in the traditional sense, more of decorative or even edible skulls made of sugar. So that's what the term sugar skull comes from. And so here are my mini vinyl figures of the character. Here is the original version of her. Okay, and the next one is her variant. The red one is her regular resurrection, and the white one is her resurrection, one of her resurrection variants. Really cute, since she's a bone collector. That's why she has the bone in her hand, and you have a little mound of dirt with a shovel behind her. And that's a keychain that they gave out in Toy Fair 2012. It glows in the dark. I'm not sure the production run. It is considered very rare. There's a bunch on eBay with different prices. I didn't pay too much. I actually got her in a lot, luckily. But it's so cute. And like I said, it glows in the dark. Really cute figure, keychain. So I have it with my vinyl figures in a display. Now, the cool thing about Calavera is that she and Pumpkin are brother and sister, which is something that was revealed in their Resurrection 8. I can't wait to talk about it. Putting my phone back on my tripod. So, as I mentioned before with Ember, technically, it seems like it's an homage in her case, but it's not really a one-to-one replica of the skeleton mask. So here's her mask. I mean, if you take away the bow, I can see it. And I forgot to mention with Ember, the company was called Silver Shamrock, who made the costumes. Really cute. I do have her variant, like Isabelle from Series 16. Calavera's variant is the only one I wanted from this set. I mean, if the price was right for the others, who knows, but I'm happy with my Calavera. Now, her hair is not the best to begin with, but the variant is awful. It's really thin. I don't know why, but like it was really a downgrade from the original. Whereas Gabriella and Ingrid, they have beautiful hair. I forgot to mention that. Nicely rooted, very thick, full of body, and it's really stringy, especially how much they charge for these variants, which they actually decreased the production from the previous Halloween set to $275. The previous one had 300 sets, and they were sold through Mezco Direct. Her mask is orange and black, and you know, she comes with the same style of tutu. I love the orange. It's really cute, and her makeup is really nice. It's really cute, and like I said, I'm happy just to have Calavera's variant. Again, if I ever come across the others for a really good price, then I'll pick it up. I always change my mind, but I'm not really actively hunting for the variants, especially because I don't have the room for them. If you saw my room tour, which I highly recommend, I have very limited space, and of the variant sets I do have, they fit nicely together with their OG set. I just don't have that accommodation in this room for both Halloween sets and their variants. As much as I like them, I just don't have the space. And again, I don't really have the desire again, I want my favorites. I still want Isabel. And like I said, I'm happy with my Calavera. And that's all I have to say for this cutie. Which leads the MVD to Jingles. Now, Jingles is the other doll I bought along with Calavera in the comic book store. So I paid $25 for him. Once upon a time, I was actually thinking of getting rid of my Jingles. And, you know, I got rid of that idea very quickly. There's nothing wrong with him. It was a matter of space. And at the time when I bought Jingles, well, I bought Calavera, but he and Calavera were the only dolls left from this series on the shelf. And I didn't want to leave him behind. I didn't want to leave him by himself. I felt bad for him. So I grabbed him. And like I said, it was retail. Now, he's dressed as a jester. There's not too much information in terms of his death date, which again, it's around Halloween, October 31st, 1971. And I tried looking up what came out in terms of movies, and I just didn't see any reference. I forgot to mention that Calavera's death date is the other death day that's not near Halloween, but it is the Day of the Dead for Mexico, which is observed on November 1st and November 2nd, which is what hers is, the date of November 2nd. And, you know, I don't get his appeal. I don't know why he's so popular. He's one of the most expensive ones of this series. For a long time, I thought Calavera was the MVD, but it's Jingles. And on the LDD page, you know, that nothing but praises for this boy. Not sure why. He is a well-made doll. Don't get me wrong. He has this thick one-piece suit. He has this separate collar that jingles, hence his name. He has this awesome hat. He has nice hair underneath. Really cute. Now, I believe his hat... No, I thought his hat was held down by a clear plastic rubber band, but it's not. I've never removed it, and I'm not going to. His little bells on his hat are a little pinned down. The little tats, I don't know what you would call this part of the hat, is pinned down. And like I said, he's a really well-made doll. He comes with socks. Like, he's really well-made. The collar and his red accents on his outfit, they're of a felt material, and I just like the jingle. He comes with this very simple mask, which reminds me of a plague mask. And someone, now there's a Wikipedia page for Living Dead doll, for Living Dead dolls, and you know, some of the information they put for a lot of these dolls, I find it to be either out of date or inaccurate. And in his case, someone mentioned that, because remember, this is all, it's for Wikipedia, it's all fan input. So someone mentioned that his outfit is reminiscent of Harley Quinn. I don't think that's what the guys were going for, personally. It doesn't make any sense. So I feel like it's more of a medieval theme that his costume is referencing. I think it's a coincidence that his colors are red and black, very similar to Harley Quinn, but I feel like that's where the line is drawn. Now, he has an interesting screening. Really cool. And he looks, you know, he doesn't look sinister, but his vinyl, the vinyl that I have of him, which I'll show you in a moment, it's like a completely different character. And I'll show you that. So he comes with this little pedestal that he's on that has the pentamic, I can never say that word right, the 5-star, and he has these little candles on the base. Really cool. And again, it makes him look a lot more sinister than his doll. Now, it says that he himself was sacrificed, but This time around with this figurine, it looks like he's doing the sacrificing. And he has a variant. It's all black. I remember seeing it on eBay. Someone was trying to ask for way over $100 for it. Didn't think it was worth it. So, you know, I certainly am happy with the one I have. And I think it's just really nicely made. Really well detailed. All these figurines are really nicely detailed. And he appeared in the same series as Ember. Right next to him. So I don't want to have another technical difficulty trying to put my phone back on the tripod, so I'm going to try to do this with one hand. Like I said, I paid $25 for him, and he goes for an insane price. He goes from anywhere from $100 to $150. And like I said, I thought Calavera was the MVD for a long time. I forgot to mention, like, her price range is like low 80s to 100, and her variant, which is the only variant I'm going to discuss in terms of the price, I paid $65 for her. And again, her variant goes for, you know, around $80 to $100. But I don't get it. I really don't get it. But he's a nice doll. He's a well-made doll, and I'm so glad that I was not an idiot and sold him. He's definitely a cute doll, and I'm glad I have him in my collection. And that is Jingles. And so that's it for Series 18. They are a solid series. I mean, they're an excellent series. However, I think in comparison to the first All Halloween series of Series 16, I think the only thing I will knock them for, like half a sulfur, is the chipboards. I thought Series 16 had the better chipboards. I love the point of view of an unsuspecting adult opening a door and seeing this trick-or-treater that it frightened them, which I thought was kind of funny. And, you know, their chipboards, they're nice, but, you know, it's just a picture of the doll with some background on it. And that's why they get a 4.5 sulfur symbol out of 5. So that's it. Do your research, especially when looking for Calavera, Gabriella, and Pumpkin. Make sure you look at those hands. If it's a cupped hand, definitely should have their pumpkins. Pumpkin, the character Pumpkin, he actually doesn't come with his machete. And, you know, he just comes with a mask, no cupped hands. So definitely look at those pictures. Do your research. And stay tuned for more Living Dead Dolls discussion. And become a subscriber so you can be part of the discussion and share your feedback and your experience collecting these dolls. And as always, happy hunting.